Welcome to Shop Live with Mimi and Russ. We took a little hiatus last week because for some reason we were losing power constantly. Our building was out of power last week. So we apologize for that, but maybe we'll make up for tonight.
It was an interesting.
It was an interesting day, but tonight we're going to talk about our first of two shows this week, and next week we're going to discuss the beautiful world of diamonds because
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
exactly this is Diamond Month. April is the diamond birthstone. So
yes.
we're going to talk about tonight. This whole tonight's deal is going to be talking about natural diamonds, and we're going to talk about the origins of diamonds. We're going to show you some pieces from pre-1850.
Got some cool estate pieces.
We do, all the way up to modern, to kind of show you a little bit of evolution of diamonds and jewelry and what's been going on. And we've got some diamond cuts to show you. We're just going to kind of talk about the lore of diamonds, the history, what it's all about. And if you have any questions, you can text on there. We'll try to answer them for you. So we'll get started. And we'll also talk about Gabrielle's special drink tonight, which is called what?
We were checking our SEO from our website and all Google and everything, and we had so many hits for diamond jewelry, bridal jewelry, wedding rings.
That's what I've been doing all day today is working on wedding jewelry.
Yes, you have. So since it's the birthstone for this month, we wanted to talk about natural diamonds today, like Russ said. Next week, we're going to talk about lab-grown diamonds because that's another big Google search on our website.
Lab-grown diamonds, as we've been talking about for the last year, really, are really taking off and doing very well, and they're very affordable. So we'll get into the comparisons and the likes and dislikes and so forth of diamonds versus lab-growns next week.
I always have questions, but thank you for joining us. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for being with us tonight. Tuesday night at 7 is our night for Shop with Mimi and Russ Live. And again, we're sorry about last week. We came in late from my birthday at the coast, and then we got back to work, and we had a whole day of power outages in this neighborhood. So we're just like, we'll just slide on to the next week.
And speaking of birthdays, our little mascot, little dog Louie, just had his third birthday too. So we're excited.
I can't believe he's 3.
Yeah, he's 3 years old.
Yeah, little boy's growing
He's
up.
a great little dog.
Yes.
And we're going to also tonight, as I mentioned earlier, Gabrielle came up with a special drink for us tonight, which is what, Gabrielle?
It's called a 2-carat.
A 2-carat.
You'll understand why.
You'll see why. Here's what it looks like. It looks like a carrot. It's fantastic. So anyway, thanks for that. We'll do a video of her making this drink. So if you'd like to try her drink, she'll give you the recipe, and you should try it.
It's on the email.
It's on the email.
So
too.
if you don't get our email blast on Mondays, let us know. We can add you to the email list.
Exactly. So let's kind of get into talking a little bit about diamonds before we show some of these beautiful pieces. Basically, diamonds, before they were discovered in Africa in the late 1800s, were really primarily coming from, believe it or not, South America and mostly India. And a lot of those stones tended to have a little more color, a little body color. That's why the older stones you see, they tend to have more of a lighter yellow tone to a yellowish brown. So, and then when they found them in Africa, they started finding a lot more lighter stones.
But it was a pretty warm color.
It is beautiful. They called them Cape stones.
Gabrielle and I were talking about that today. Yeah.
Warm color. And then they discovered diamonds also in Australia. And they were discovering a lot of pink and blue diamonds, and those mines are pretty much gone now. But the rarity of those is astronomical, and the prices on those stones are just through the roof. They're just so rare and so valuable because they don't exist hardly. Yeah. Remember years ago, we had a state show. Our friend Bill Conant had a beautiful ring. It had 2 marquees. One was pink and one were blue.
You'll never forget that ring.
Natural stones. And back in those days, I think that ring they were like a carat stone each. It was $110,000. This was like 30 years ago. We couldn't believe it. That ring today is probably worth close to $1 million easily because of these stones are gone in value so much.
It's just so rare.
Incredible.
Yeah, but in the old days they used the color terms from the region where it came from, so they were referred to as Cape, as Russ mentioned, CAPE, Cape, or Wesselton. And I was showing Gabrielle today with modern standards, GIA has paralleled them in the D through Z, the 23 colors of the GIA color grading scale.
So basically you've got, top colorless, which are really high white stones, and you've got the near colorless stones, which a majority of people end up in that near colorless range because the value is good and they're still extremely white. But again, going back, let me show you a ring right here. Gabrielle, you want to pull this up?
Yes.
Got it.
If you can see this right here now, this ring probably predates 1850. The stones that are in here, before they invented the modern cutting wheel, the stones were very haphazardly cut. They tended to be flat on the bottom, and they were cut this dome shape. Well, they take the crystal, which was typically an octahedron, which is a 8-sided crystal. They just kind of randomly polish the facets, and they throw a couple facets on there somehow. They just really didn't understand the light properties and light refraction of diamonds, but they knew they had a very highly reflective surface. So that's kind of how they cut diamonds at first, was to emphasize the light reflection from the surface, and they were very durable. This stone has those old style cuts. They were very roughly cut. There's no real pattern to them. The top of this ring is kind of dark and dull because it's sterling silver. They did not have white gold, which was not invented until after about World War II. And then platinum was discovered in the late 1800s. So most all jewelry was yellow gold. And even today, you can look back in the estate pieces, all these pieces that had the white metal sterling on top always had to be encased by yellow. They never put anything in just all white metal as we do today. So this is a beautiful classic piece from about 1840. And going from there,
Let me just say one thing.
Here's a Civil War coming.
Gabrielle and I talked about this today, and she put a post up on her Instagram that talks about, yesterday it talked about the 4 C's of diamonds. Today our post on Instagram and Facebook is about the round brilliant cut. And this first ring that Russ is showing you, those stones were basically like 2 pyramids with the wide side together, and basically what they did was lopped off the top, they rounded the sides, and they just brooded the angles. The angles were much larger, and they twinkled in the candlelight. But that was the first. It was nothing mathematical about it. It was just brooding it down to get it sparkly.
Now, there's 2 rings in my hand now. The original one right here that I showed you at first. This is about 1840. The one in my hand next to me is probably about 50 years later, maybe 60 years later, probably 50 years later or so. This is right around the Edwardian time. They first discovered platinum. And again, it has the yellow gold back, and they put the diamonds in platinum. And they started realizing that the white made the diamonds really show nicely. And again, similar styles, about 50 years apart, but you can see the evolution of the metal and the stone cutting now. They're starting to cut stones that are a little bit more balanced. Right here, they're still doing it by eye, just by individually looking at it and turning it and moving it by eye. When they invented the machines, when actual Samuel Morse, who was a Bostonian, invented the modern diamond cutting machine, and right before the turn of the century, before 1900, and that's when they started really cutting diamonds balanced, so every facet would match itself all the way around. And a lot of these stones back in those days, they used to cut them a third, the girdle, which is the widest point. They cut the top a third of the height, and the bottom was 2/3. And that's kind of how they started cutting them. And then Tolkowski, another gentleman who's a mathematician and a diamond cutter, figured out how to really maximize the light reflection. In the 1920s with the invention of the ideal cut.
What's fascinating to me is they used steam-powered engines to turn the machines to cut those diamonds, like on the first 2 rings that he did. And this was the same time, I'm reading a book about Rudolf Diesel, who invented the diesel machine, and he was very frustrated with, he lived in London and it was very industrial. He just knew there had to be a better way for mechanization, not only in factories, but on job sites. So all of this technology is changing the whole industrial revolution from machinery into our jewelry world.
So they went from these little small diamonds to larger diamonds. They used to call them Marshalls, the way they did them. They went from there to, everybody's heard of old mine cuts. That's when they would, I was just showing you that second ring, where they kind of cut them by eye, not by machine per se, to balance them. And then we get into the Art Deco period, which you can see right here. Here's 2 rings. Actually, this one actually right in the smaller one ring would be really considered a kind of Edwardian or Belle Epoque, which is right around the same period, going towards the Art Deco, which is the classic open, cut out pieces, scroll work. And these rings were all made by hand. out of solid metal. They weren't cast like we
Everything
do
was
today.
symmetrical.
It's always hand done, but you start seeing now the diamonds are starting to have a little more life, a little more brilliance because they're balanced. These are what they call old European cuts, which to me is kind of funny because Samuel Morse, a Bostonian, invented the machine, invented the style of cutting, but they call them old European cuts.
So you go from the Edwardian period was very influenced by floral nature, very open, light, delicate designs that really showed more of the stones than the metalwork. And then they had the World's Fair in Paris, which completely brought on this the Art Deco period and that whole industrial revolution. Do you want to, before we get into some more modern areas, do you want to do Gabrielle's?
Yeah, why don't we do her cocktail? And again, we just kind of showed you the evolution here of rough cut diamonds up to modern cut diamonds. And we're going to show you some modern designs using really modern cut stones
Yes.
after this.
So stay
show us
tuned.
your drink.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Carrots and Cocktails. I am your host Gabrielle, where I am literally going to put carrots in a cocktail today. We're making us a 2-carat cocktail. Seems appropriate, right? And if you want bigger carrots, just add more. It's that easy. Just as simple as a diamond, right? Let's get into it. Alright, so this is a gin-based cocktail. We were thinking something along the lines of the fun word carrot and associated with cocktail, as well as it is spring. We just had the Easter bunnies hop on through, so we're going to do a little carrot juice today. So you can juice your own. I'm not today. This is pure carrot juice, organic from Whole Foods. It'll work just fine. Usually I'm a fresh is best, but carrots, it'll work. All right, so first I had some simple syrup. It's half an ounce in here. It was cooling down. I just made it. So add you half an ounce to a shaker here. And you're going to need 2 carrots, so 2 ounces of carrot juice for your cocktail. All right, 2 carrots in. All right, and you are going to need some gin, 1.5 ounces here. If you prefer it a little stronger, go more. But we're also gonna add a little Aperol. So, 1.5 ounces plus there. Right, Aperol. One of my favorites, a bitter orange liqueur, which is very stuck after it opens once. Hey, haha, got it. The sugar in it, that tells you a little bit. You don't need a whole lot of extra sugar in this cocktail, but you got a little here. All right, need 3/4 ounce of that. Boop, right on in. This is gonna be a very bright colored drink here. All right, you're going to need a 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice. You cannot substitute citrus juice for bottled. It won't work. So fresh squeeze, 1/2 ounce, right on in. And to add a little warmth and earthiness to this is Scrappy's Bitters and Cardamom flavor. So it's gonna add just a touch of bitterness as well as those warm, kind of earthy, nutty spices of cardamom here. So you want 2 dashes, which is boop, boop. 2 little pipette squeezes there. All right, let's fill our shaker. And we know the rules. Shake it until your hand is tired and it is cold. Get everything all happy and mixed together. All right. And as I said before, this wouldn't have been Easter Bunny approved, but we were off that week, so slight delay, but carrot still works. All right. Now you are going to go ahead and take your lowball glass here. Give that some ice too. This is an on ice beverage. All right. That is nice and shaken now. Let us pour it in our glass. This is so pretty. Ah. It's got to have some added healthiness to the carrot juice. You know, you're going to be seeing better after this or seeing worse, one or the other, depending on how many carrots you got. Add a little lemon juice at the top and a little wedge. It's different. It's like a V8, but alcoholic and better. That's a lot of fun. Even some ginger would be good in here too. Well, perfect. That is our 2-carat cocktail today. We hope you make it and continue watching us for some more fun tonight. See you next time. Take my carrots. Cheers!
So,
She's not kidding.
2 carats.
V8, 2 carat.
I like this 2 carat, but I like a 2 carat diamond also. So
There you go.
we had our first time we had a drink with carrot juice was at Wrightsville Beach, and I was like, ooh, so good. It's just so fresh. And thank you, Gabrielle. Good job.
It's really good
2
job.
carats. So if you want the recipe, if you didn't get the email, we were happy to send it to you.
One thing I didn't show a few minutes ago, I want to show now, is we have this one particular piece that we keep the box inside of the box because it's this special.
It's very special.
As you can see, this piece right here is beautiful. This is from about 1840 also, and I'll put it down here where you can really take a look at it. But the box itself was custom built for the piece, and you can see, looking at it, if you look at the old books in libraries, you'll see this looks a whole lot like the inside of a book. They kind of built it the same way. This box was covered with this beautiful paper, and inside it
what's
is one of the
inside?
most incredible pieces we've ever had.
It is gorgeous.
This piece is, again, about 1840, and these are the original rose cuts that they used to cut and kind of get the stone in the middle back under there where you can see. There it is. It's a pear-shaped center. It's about 2 carats. All the stones on here are rose cut, meaning they're flat on the bottom, they're domed on the top. It's set in 100% sterling silver, but it does have one yellow gold piece on the back because it always has to have yellow gold to be considered a high quality piece of jewelry during this time period. But that's a piece of history, that's a piece of art, and you can see the box was beautifully made
gorgeous.
for the particular piece
If it
itself.
just talk.
If we just could talk to hear the history of this. This was some prominent individual had this piece. It was beautiful. I mean, it's just incredible.
We had
We
a
have
cli-
it now, and it is for sale, but we're kind of reluctant to sell it, but it is for sale.
We
It's
had a
beautiful
client
piece.
try this on the other day, and it was just like
Yeah.
disco ball. The bigger facets, the way they
Incredible.
cut these stones, it is magnificent. And
Piece of history.
they were in candlelight and then kerosene lights, and it just, they just wanted to see the sparkle of. That was the original eight table.
Yeah.
You see it 8 tables away.
Here's another little fun piece. We'll talk a little bit about engagement rings now. Here's another fun piece we'll put down here. And again, here's the original box. This beautiful little, I'll tilt it a little bit so you can see it better. This is a beautiful classic little diamond solitaire. This was the original Tiffany design. The Tiffany mountings we see today are more straight pronged up and down. These look, if you can see this, looks more like a little crown around the bottom of it, the way it's sculpted. But that was the original Tiffany design. This particular piece was made in London, England. The company was on Bond Street. And it's a really unique piece. We had the box and
So sweet.
the classic piece. And this is just, again, a part of history that I love. I like collecting things like this. And if you want to see something beautiful, come out and take a look at this and the beautiful pendant we just showed.
And the history of solitaire diamond rings is a whole nother show. But that's we've had that ring for a long time. Russ just adores it.
It's mine. It's kind of like mine.
By the way, we'll encourage you to share. If you'll share with your friends and let them know what we're doing here. It's Big Bridal Month. We always have a lot of people our age, moms and dads, who are trying to help the younglings get engaged and if they need help. So this show would be a good resource. You can watch it on YouTube or on our Facebook page.
And also
Learn about diamonds.
go to our website. We have a lot of information there about
do have a
diamonds
nice
and everything
educational
else.
page.
There's a lot of education there to
Or
learn
come
about.
see us.
Or also, get the information there. If you have any questions, you can call us or email us. So come see us. As Mimi said, please come see us. Let us help you with any of your engagement ring needs, wedding ring needs, or if you're like a lot of our customers that we've known forever, they bought maybe a half a carat diamond from us, 30 years ago. Maybe they bought a 1 carat and now they want to upgrade because
It's not just young kids. I mean, it's like
we've upgraded a lot of our customers. From
I want a big
20,
girl
30 years.
ring. You want to I've worked hard and I want a big girl ring now. So come in and celebrate those milestones. Now you've got the uncut diamonds too.
Yeah, I'll put them right here too. We actually have, and I mentioned just a few minutes ago about the octahedrons, which that's what these particular diamond crystals are. This is how they naturally form. This stone right here is literally right out of the diamond mine. It's an octahedron crystal, 8-sided. And typically these, when you look under magnification, it's really cool because all on the sides of these, you can see they're like triangles, the way it's shaped. They're actually triangles all embedded on the side of this in crystals. They call them trigons, and they're all over
No,
the
it's
stone.
cool when you
which is
see
really
that.
neat to see it.
Yeah, when you see that left on a diamond.
So this is a natural crystal right out of the earth, and this is a crystal also, but you can see I had a diamond cutter actually just kind of fasten it as it was, just keeping the shape, but that little extra fastening really gives it some sparkle. It's really unique and fun to see, but typically what they do, you can see because these things are balanced, they'll cut about a half of the bottom of it off, and then they'll use that to cut a bigger diamond and cut a smaller one out of the top because it's more value to do it that way. They would just split it. You think, well, you just split it, get two, but they actually make more money getting the bigger diamond. So they'll cut one large stone out of this and then one smaller stone out of it. But if you ever want to see some natural diamond crystals, come by here. We'll be happy to show you this and have some fun. Look under the microscope and see the trigons,
Yeah,
which are
that's
naturally occurring.
That identifies it as the real thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fun having all of that. Okay, so you're going to move up from Art Deco into modernity.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's talk about, again, diamonds in general as far as we talked about, colors a few minutes ago. Here are a couple of our bubble pendants. We'll show you right here. And you can see one of them has all white diamonds, all natural white. And the other one has different colored diamonds. Yes, diamonds do come in various colors. The blue one here is actually irradiated. They actually treat that because, again, if that was natural, that stone would be thousands of dollars.
Can you put it in the tweezer and just rock and tilt it just slowly so you can see those colors.
This is a pretty little pendant we just put together.
I love that.
Quite nice stones. Get that out of the
I
way.
had that on outside and the sunlight hitting it. It was just yummy.
And Mimi was worn this around a couple times in restaurants and places, and
Yeah.
people always comment on it. Such a pretty stone. Group of stones. And then you go from there to, white. This is part of our bubbles collection, like the bubbles coming up from the ocean or the water. These are a lot of fun. We can do these different sizes. This one's very large. This one's about, I think, 2.5 carats, almost 3 carats. And just kind of playful. We can do these with all color, or all white colors, or we can do it with various colors like this piece is done. You can also mix colored stone and diamonds doing these, so these are great.
And that's been a great series for people who come in with jewelry they've inherited and they want to repurpose it into something from the 80s waterfalls, maybe into something more modern. And it's always a challenge doing custom design work when you've got this size, shape, variants to kind of plug and play it into design. In this bubble series and Russ's Capellini series have been two great series that facilitate getting stones from a lot of different items into one item that's finished.
And I'll show you one more set of diamonds, and we will slow down on the showing stuff. So let's go to here, Gabrielle. I'm going to get this in the right spot. You tell me if we're lined up. You hear so much about chocolate diamonds. Chocolate diamonds, again, stones that tend to have either a brownish or a black tone or gray tone, or that chocolate color, that rich color. We also have some. We had a customer a few days ago came in, and she got a stone from us about 10, 15 years ago, and it's almost cinnamon color. We call it a cinnamon color diamond. Absolutely incredible stones, very bright, very rich. But these are the classic chocolates that you see so much of, these two pieces. This other piece right here, this is what they're calling now the salt and pepper diamonds, which basically are stones that have a lot of the original trace carbon in it, and then some white inclusions that are in it. This particular one's very unique because it's almost like it's dark on one end, slowly fades away, and gets to that whiter, and you see some of those salt and pepper inclusions. But diamonds are so unique, whether you want a beautiful high white stone or do you want a color, diamonds offer everything to the imagination.
Yeah, those colored diamonds have been around since they've been finding them. Levian kind of took that chocolate diamond thing and ran with it. I think it was very successful with it.
Yeah, they still do well with it.
The people, collectors, realizing, there's more than just white diamonds out there. And, I was telling Gabrielle today, too, when I did my gemology, how old are you?
32 almost.
32. So
32 years ago.
31 years ago, I was trying to get my gemology finished before she was born.
33 years, going backwards.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. At that time, you always heard about canary diamonds, just going back in time. But when I was getting my gemology, they were starting to break out. They don't just call them canary diamonds or fancy yellows. There's, I think, 6 or 7 different levels now, because even fancy yellows have various colors like greenish yellow, brownish yellow.
Yeah, lots of tones, but also different intensities and saturation of those colors. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
diamonds are fantastic. We have enjoyed working with customers over the years, and everybody is. It's nice because there's so much variety in diamonds. There's so much variance in qualities and cuts and everything else. It's nice that you can pick out, you can learn and decide what's best for you. And it's like I said, we started with the modern round brilliant cuts, and there are other fancy cuts that we can talk about. I'm going to show you something right here real quick. I'm just going to hold this up. This is a particular emerald cut, but a lot of people go, I don't like emerald cuts. They don't sparkle as much, because emerald cuts have about 48 facets. There's not a lot of faceting. This one, however, you can see has a lot more life to it, because this is what's known as a scissor cut. Each one of the single facets has a crisscross cut in the back like a scissor. So it really multiplies the faceting to over 70. So you get a little bit more twinkle, a little bit more vibrant sparkle from these types of stones than you do the old styles of emerald cut.
Overall flash from that, where with the emerald cut, you tend to just see parallel
Bars.
bars of flash.
And here's the cushion cut,
It's very sparkly.
which is very, very beautiful. This was the same way. It has the extra fastening, not a scissor cut, but a little extra crisscross fastening. So they have a little bit more life. So, and there's a style of cut that I saw many years ago, and actually there's someone still cutting them. They call them millennium cuts.
Oh, okay.
Back in
Those are cool.
1899, to commemorate the 1900s coming about, they did this particular cut. Instead of having a flat table, like most diamonds have this flat table, it actually comes to a point like the bottom. And they cut these for 1 year only to signify that. And there's a few of the antique ones out there, and they're hard to come by.
Yeah.
But as I said, there's a particular company that's starting to cut those again, and they're really unique stones. They're a little different.
Yeah. But this, what we call a cushion, this rounded corner square, was the original shape for diamonds. They just roughed off the corners.
They couldn't get them round, so it's
Yeah.
really easy to kind of
They
make them
just,
oblong.
rounded it off. But then in the 1920s, Tolkowski came up with the mathematical formula to do the round brilliant. And every facet, every angle of a round brilliant is figured out mathematically on how the light can go in the stone, go through the bottom of the stone, and then come out. If they're not cut correctly, the light tends to leak. It can leak out.
That's why some diamonds look kind of lifeless,
Just
dull,
dead,
gray
yeah.
looking.
But that is the only shape that is mathematically perfect.
Yep.
So again, we put that post up today on Facebook and Instagram. All of these type of fancy cuts have to be, it's up to the artistry and the skill of the cutter to get the proportions and the brilliance out of the rough.
And that's probably one of the main things that I've focused on over the years is I'm very particular about the cut. That is the most important of the 4 C's. And if you list them, it should be cuts first, color second, clarity third, and carat size is last, really, because sometimes it dictates, I want to have a 1 carat, I want to have a 2 carat, or your budget limits you to,
or your
I
budget.
can only spend this much and I'm on this quality, so you got to kind of figure all those things out, and they're all relative to cost factors and that.
We've done this so long, we know how to be kind of a smart shopper to help you get a beautiful visual diamond that you'll be proud of.
But the key is the cut, whether it's a round and it's ideal cut or whatever you want to say. The cut's the most important, how it reflects light and how it makes you feel. Everybody's eyesight's different, everybody's opinions are different, so don't let anybody try to tell you you have to buy a particular kind of diamond or quality of diamond or brand of diamond or anything else. It's
Oh, yeah, the
irrelevant,
brands.
it's immaterial. Somebody should always put a few diamonds out in front of you, and you look at them, and if one of those diamonds just stands out to you, that's the diamond you want, regardless of what quality it is or whatever it is.
Right.
And if it's if you see something you can't tell the difference, the first question you should ask is what? Which one's the least expensive,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because if you can't tell the difference, why spend more money?
I mean,
for
because
something?
really, we've been doing this how long, and how many people have you come and said, I've got to have a flawless internal, a flawless external diamond.
Nobody.
Yeah.
You know, most people come in, again, let your eyes be the judge. We'll educate you. We'll show you diamonds under the microscope and kind of show you, you know, how to look for things and how to figure it out. And then that way you can make the best decision for you.
Yeah.
No one should ever have to sell you a diamond. You should be able to, they should teach you a little bit about it.
It should be
and then
pretty.
let
You should get
you
excited
figure
about
out.
it. You know,
Figure
should
it out.
have an aha and go, that's the one I want.
And that's why you should buy in person too versus online. You have no idea what's going to come to you in the mail. I've heard some horror stories.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of horror
Well,
stories.
and that's one thing we haven't even talked about. There are different types of diamonds. There's type 2As. And a lot of these online diamond houses sell you the diamonds. It may be a GVS1, but it's a different type of diamond and they're hazy and
Big
cloudy.
yeah, there's a lot of that out there. And a lot of the stones you see on these sites, they come from overseas and kind of nefarious places, and they're not quite graded 100% the way they should be. You always have, as Mimi just said, you need to touch it, see it, feel it, look at it, know what it is. But the key is you cannot be a diamond expert, period. You cannot buy off of paper.
No,
You cannot buy off a website or recommendation. You need to see it, but you also need to go to someone you can trust who can teach you about it. Mimi and I both got over 35 years experience with diamonds. She's a certified gemologist, and we can teach you about diamonds and show you diamonds. Our expertise can help you figure out what you want. We're not going to try to sell you something. We're going to help you figure out what it is that your heart desires, what's going to make you happy to give her, and what's going to make you proud when she wears it. So that's the key. So whether it's from us, make sure if you're somewhere that you can't get to us, go to your local jeweler, go to an AGS
An
store.
American Gem Society
American
store,
Society
yes.
Go to some place that's been there that you can trust.
Not just some clerk.
Not a big box store, not a mall store, not a chain store. Go to a local jeweler who's got some integrity and let them teach you about diamonds.
And you may say, well, I don't live in Raleigh. We've had clients who've helped us sell diamonds all over the country.
We can Zoom also, that'll help.
Yes. I want to just go back to one thing. Gabrielle and I today, I'm doing an appraisal on 3 estate rings, and I had a really good example to show her how the cut was wonky, is probably a good term. So,
Not balanced, in other words.
Things were not cut right and whatever. And she said, the cut thing gets me confused. It's like, it's the shape, but the cut really means two things. It means
The balance of it.
the shape that you want is the cut and the 4 C's, but it also refers to the cut, really the artistry, the finish, the proportions, all of those little details that go into getting a diamond finished. So
That's right. Cut is the most important thing. Again, color also is opinionated. Your eyesight can vary on color.
there's no machine that separates. Yeah.
Some people can see it pretty quick. Some people don't. And then clarity, if a stone is eye clean, if it's an SI stone or above, and then you can't see anything with your eye,
When you say that term is confusing. It means eye clean means
you cannot see any inclusions with your eye. So if you can't see with your eye, whether it's an SI, VS, or VVS, what difference does it make? It's going to make a difference in price as you go up in those clarities.
it's a premium stone.
They get expensive. So some people want to pay that, some people don't. So we'll help show you what does and what doesn't make sense for you and your budget.
But if
So
you
what about fluorescence?
fluorescence? That's a big controversy within the gemology world. When we started out, fluorescence was kind of poo-pooed on. And what that means is the stone naturally fluoresces. So if you put it under a black light, it glows purple. I have this wide band. There's a few stones in here that are fluorescent. When I look at it this way, I can tell you which one it is, but when I put it up under the light box, they glow. So whenever I'm doing my appraising, I always put this ring in the top of the light box, and I can determine there's actually different levels of fluorescence. When we were started along, fluorescence was considered a detriment to a diamond. There are some people, diamond dealers in the industry, that love fluorescence because it can make a stone with some body color actually look whiter. In modern times, a lot of the kids and people like them because they can go to the club and they're glowing in the black lights. They've even designed jewelry with white diamonds and then writing things in with the diamonds that fluoresce, so when you're in a black light
That has to be some 80s, 90s stuff there.
It's, it's a phenomenon of the stone. It can make a stone look oily and hazy. It just depends on the diamond. Sometimes it just doesn't make any difference.
Typically, when you have a stone, the fluorescence, if it's faint to medium fluorescence, typically you're going to have a nice bright whiter stone. Typically in sunlight, does not affect the beauty of the stone at all. It just kind of actually helps it. As Mimi said, if you get a little bit too much fluorescence, sometimes it can look oily or waxy or not quite as nice. That you avoid, and it does devalue the diamond pricing. But there's numerous articles over the last few years from the Gemological Institute of America and the AGS actually praising and saying that the faint stones, the medium stones can be quite beautiful and unique and very special, and enhance the diamond's beauty as opposed to take away from
And
it.
they cost a little bit less. So.
Costs slightly
There's a little
less.
shopper's tip. So
There
a
you
good
go.
question, Gabrielle.
Little things
Good
like
question.
that. But diamonds are unique. They've been around for hundreds of years, and again, the beauty of them,
All right,
they're just unique.
we have one more diamond we want to talk about, and this is something that a lot of
We
young.
talked about it.
The salt and pepper.
Yep.
Was I here?
Evidently you weren't, but we talked about it. We can talk a little bit more about salt and pepper.
Okay. A lot of the younger kids they have to get ideas somewhere in Etsy, Pinterest, and they're trying to find things that are less expensive. So, for instance, moss agate, which is something you mine
It's
in
a
the
rock.
mountains
It's
and you
basically a
throw in a
rock.
box. It's like you don't want that for an engagement ring, for a lot of reasons. But these natural diamonds with the salt and pepper inclusions is what it's been named. They're kind of cool,
They vary a lot in textures and colors. Mimi's got one from an older stone. They didn't really call it salt and pepper. Hers is kind of that, it's almost that muddy, cinnamony, reddish tone to it. And it's got some flakes in it. And then the one we were just talking about right here, we showed earlier, I'll bring it back up here again. This particular one right here really is just, it's not necessarily salt and pepper. To me, it goes from a dark, like a black diamond, and it fades towards white. But it does have some salt and pepper inclusions on the end. But this one's really unique. It's a beautiful pear-shaped stone. It's about 1.5 carats. And we made a simple mounting for it, and then we made a white diamond band to go with it. So as you can see, the white diamonds really accent that, make it pop. So
But we've had a lot of people take this ring design and then want to do another V-shaped band on the bottom belly part of the
yeah,
pear shape.
we've
So
actually done it
it's
where
actually been
This
a
one-
cool ring to work with. It has a lot of
you can wear the band either direction. You
Yeah.
can wear it like this, or you can wear it like that.
so that's fun.
So fun. So anything you want in diamonds, it's out there. We can help you figure it out what it is that makes your heart happy. And if you need a diamond engagement ring, or if you need an upgrade from your original ring, you got a big anniversary coming up, one of those divisible by 5 or 10. It's always nice to upgrade. We've done quite a few of those last year, and we've already done several this year. So let us know if we can help you in any way.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody joining us tonight for a Shot with Mimi Russ Live. Remember, we're here every Tuesday for the most part at 7, unless life throws you power outages
Yeah.
and things.
And next week we are going to talk about the other end of the spectrum. We're going to talk about, again, lab-grown diamonds.
Diamonds, lots of questions about
Yeah.
lab grooms.
We've got a few pieces of finished jewelry that we have, and we're going to show you that we're going to offer some really great values on. When you see the prices, you're going to be amazed. So tune in next week and see what we got available, and tell your friends and family. As Mimi said earlier, please like and share. Tell everybody. Some people have watch parties. They'll get their friends together, and they'll have a glass of wine or a bottle of wine or two and watch the show, and sometimes they'll call
Depends
and
on how long we
order
talk,
something.
right?
Exactly. So keep that in mind as well. It's fun to get together with your friends. But if you have any questions or you have any needs, please do not hesitate to contact us. We appreciate you joining us tonight and watching us each and every
Yeah,
time.
thank you for being with us.
Hope
This is
you have
always
a
fun.
Very blessed week, and we'll see you again next time, and God bless you all.
Good night.
Good night.